Happy Independence Day from Cincinnati, Ohio. The Sox and Reds get together after your cookout. For game number 3 of this series, each team has won one, and the Sox did a lot of labor to win yesterday night's ball game. Thanks for joining us. Happy 4th to you and yours. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. And when you've got the bases loaded, the one guy you want to call upon in the Sox lineup above all else is Yoan Moncada.
Yoan has a lot of skills, but one of the things he does particularly well is drive in runs when he comes to bat with the bases loaded. And during his brief career, the numbers are staggering. 5 for 11. A grand slam, a triple, a double, 14 driven in, almost miraculous for just 5 hits, but Yoan gets it done, and last night was no exception. He got it done in a big way, clearing the bases late. Sox went on to win, courtesy of a whole lot of things, and one of them was Yoan Moncada and his bases loaded heroics.
That 12th inning triple got the Sox the lead. Yolmer Sanchez added on, but the reason it could happen was the Sox bullpen again.
Bullpen last night was outstanding. They went 7 innings, which is a long way to go for any bullpen, and they struck out 12. So everybody threw the ball well. Cedeno threw it well. Rondon threw it well. Soria threw it very well. Jace Fry threw it pretty well, and Hector Santiago the best of all. 2 innings, 6 strikeouts. He wound up winning the ball game, and the Sox bullpen was a big factor last night.
Sox are trying to win this series. Game number 3 from Great American Ballpark is on the way. It's hot, it's humid, the ball's been carrying, and the Sox have compelled it to. Garcia and Palka each with 2 homers last night. We'll see what the follow-up is this evening.
AC Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
If there's one day to jump in the fountain, it might be today. It is hot and humid once again in Cincinnati. Sox try to win this series against one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. They're 15-6 their last 21, and some sort of rhythmic dancing going on with Rosie and Mr. Red and Mr. Redlegs. Jose is not a rhythmic dancer, but he certainly is likely to be an all-star if you keep voting. Hashtag vote Abreu. You can vote online at MLB.com. He's great at sign stealing, fake bunting, scary looks. We laughed, we cried, we hugged. We got punched in the face. See, this is the one that Joe McEwing did not like very much at all. Joe, you see the face. I said to Joe after we saw that the other day, I said, "What, were you mad at him?" He goes, "No, it hurt."
Jose's a pretty strong man. You got to figure when he gets you in a bear hug, it's probably something that you'd like to keep toward later in the season when an injury is not that important.
Or when a chiropractor's right next to you. So, the Sox put up big offensive numbers late in the game yesterday, a 12-8 victory. And here's the White Sox lineup, brought to you by the Webb Auto Group, the best lineup of Chevys and Fords and Mitsubishis, Genesis and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Moncada, the game winner last night. Sanchez a triple as well. Abreu, Garcia, and Palka, they each had 2 home runs. Garcia and Palka, all the way down to Kobe looking for his first career hit.
Defensive setup for the Reds presented by UI Health, and this is how Jim Riggleman throws them out there this evening. Duvall, Schebler, and Winker left to right, with Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette, and Votto in the infield. Tucker Barnhart gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is the hard-throwing Sal Romano. He's a big man at 6'5", in excess of 270 pounds, on for his 18th start. Record 4-8, the ERA up over 5. He doesn't strike out all that many guys for as hard as he throws, but he doesn't have great secondary pitches, and if he keeps the ball down, it moves. If he doesn't, it moves out. Umpires for the game tonight. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, has the plate. Sean Barber's at first. Stu Sherwater is at second, and Eric Cooper is at third. Jim Riggleman named the interim manager of this team, but the way this team is playing, he's making a great case for being employed beyond this year as the manager of the Reds. They're playing solid baseball under him. The offense has really picked up. Now, for his sake, if he can get that pitching staff to come together, especially in the starting rotation, he'll be fine. And Ricky Renteria feels the same way about the bullpen. The bullpen last night was a reason why this team won. 7 innings they went, which is a long way to go. And the Sox won it in extras. So hoping today to win the series. And we're ready for baseball as Romano comes up to the top of the mound. I'm ready to turn it over to my Independence Day play-by-play man, Jason Benetti.
Just on Independence Day.
That's it.
All right. Well, it's been fun working with you.
So do a good one.
Thank you very much. Maybe we'll carry over to Houston. Yohan Moncada leads it off. He has swung at the first pitch quite a bit this year. This one he takes, and off we go. Baseball on the 4th of July. 24-year-old out of the state of Connecticut, Sal Romano. Game time temperature 94 degrees. Feels like 106.
It's balmy. Wait till Houston. You'll think this is cool.
Houston's going to be a little bit soggy, but there's a roof.
There is that.
Today is the day of the road trip that you feel like if there were a president of back sweat, we'd all be running unopposed. Strike 3 on Moncada, and the throw to first. Here is out number 1.
Threw a couple of fastballs for strikes and wiped him out with that hard slider. The changeup is a work in progress. You're basically going to see sinker slider from Romano. And he has trouble in the first inning. So if he gets through the first inning, he's probably going to throw a pretty good ball game. But normally he'll give up a run or 2 early.
Sanchez has the only Sox hit in the first inning in this series. It was a double in the opener. That went to left field after a Moncada strikeout. Last night was really a rejuvenating win. Sox were down early. It looked like one of those games that might be out of reach, and then suddenly the surge came, and the Sox put up 12 runs, most of them late.
As part of last night's game, regardless of the resolution, obviously the Sox won it. But they came back from a 7-2 deficit. First 4 hitters was 4-0. And Lucas Giolito then threw the ball okay after that. But the team didn't give up. They kept pecking away, hitting the ball out of the ballpark, tying it late, and then winning it in extras on the road, which is always a good trick.
Yolmer Sanchez takes on interleague opponents today by AARP. Yolmer versus the NL, a .304 batting average, slugging .458. Ball and 2 strikes on Sanchez, with the Sox coming in at 17th in baseball and batting average at .245. Slugging percentage a little bit better to 16th. And that was certainly aided by a bonanza of homers yesterday. Duvall in left. Controls out number 2. You're talking about the arsenal from Romano, and mostly fastball.
Sinker slider pitcher. There you look at it. Changeup very rarely. 4-seam fastball. Doesn't throw it all that often. But that sinker, when it's right, he gets a lot of ground balls. If it's not right, then he has some problems, because this is a very lively ballpark, especially with this heat and humidity.
Jose Abreu back in the lineup after the foul ball off his ankle a couple of nights ago, and Jose doesn't want to wear that thing. However, he's got to. Ricky Renteria said you have a choice. You can wear it and play, or not wear it and not play. And here we are.
Well, I'm surprised he took off a game. I know Ricky Renteria insisted that he took off, told him it was manager's decision. However, you got to pull him kicking and screaming out of the lineup. When he left the opening game of this series after hitting himself, he didn't want to come out then either.
Well, he did everything he could to stay into that game, and it wasn't going to happen.
Nope. Wanted to take a look at it, put some ice on it, elevate it. Meanwhile, he could even stay out of yesterday's game, a pinch hitting role, so he wants to play. That's a good thing.
Well, yesterday was bad for employment for a couple of Cincinnati Reds. They really changed that bullpen. 2 new arms, and Dixon went down on the offensive side, so they're carrying a shorter bench. Romano trying to give him some innings. Sox go 1-2-3 and turn to Kobe after this. Jeanette, Suarez, and Winker, Duvall, Peraza, and Romano. One of the best offenses the last couple weeks in baseball.
Defensive setup for our Sox, presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there tonight. Polka, Engel, and Garcia in the outfield with Yomer, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitchers, Dylan Covey. He's had a tough time the last 3 starts. This is his 10th start of the year. His ERA up at 4.82. He started out great. Hopefully he can rediscover that sinker, because throwing ground balls in this ballpark will keep you in the game a whole lot longer than throwing fly balls, because a lot of them will go out of the park.
We saw it in the first inning last night. First 4 batters reached and scored, and Cincinnati was off to a 4-0 lead. Couple of 2-run homers. Covey to Scott Schebler to open the ball game for Cincinnati's offense. And Covey, you talk about rediscovering the sinker. 3 of his last 4 starts, the opposition has hit at least 400 against that sinker.
Well, the sinker's not sinking very much. It's not like early in the season when he had great velocity and about 3-4 inches, maybe 5 inches of sink. That's that slider he tried to paint the inside corner. So you'll know. Watch the ground balls early the first couple of innings. If he's throwing ground balls, then he's got good stuff tonight, because normally when he's pitching well, he gets a lot of ground balls.
1-2 on Schebler, and here's what Covey threw in that short outing against the Rangers innings wise. 4 hits allowed on that sinker. 2 of them were home runs at Texas.
A sinker that stays up is not real good. Schebler is very prone to swinging at high fastballs.
Upstairs, he whacks it to left field, down the line to the corner, and this is foul.
Maybe a little bit higher than that. He hit that ball pretty hard. Fortunately, it sliced on the left side of the line.
Another Sox fan ends up with a souvenir, and I'll tell you what, at the end of that game last night, it turned into a Sox home game.
Well, they were cheering for the Sox. I mean, and people were standing.
Hey, next Sox guy's back. He was really amped.
There was a bunch of them. I mean, there was a lot of Sox supporters all around the ballpark, and they stayed till the end.
That's up and out. 2-2 on Schebler, who hit the ball really hard a couple of days ago. Two and 2 from Covey. That's outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cincinnati has the most walks in Major League Baseball. So if you are not throwing the ball in the zone, they're going to make you work, and they're going to get base runners out of it. On the ground, Sanchez whips it along for out number 1. Well, you're going to see the White Sox and Reds, and here's what else you'll see during tonight's telecast. John Garland swinging the stick here at Great American Ballpark. It's 12 years ago now. We'll show it to you. Mad Max and the Dodgers, and then cut rate prices at Campca's Swap Meet coming up later on. We'll see what the Beard has in store for us in the mystery bag during our telecast tonight. 1 out for Barnhart, and he rolls it to shortstop. Anderson for route number 2.
So this is a pretty good sign. 2 hitters, 2 ground balls. That means the sinker is sinking, and the hitters are hitting the top of the baseball.
Yeah, first inning especially, that's good news.
Yeah. Because velocity is there again. He's 94-95 today, so nothing wrong with the velocity, and if he can make it move, then he's going to put together a pretty good ball game.
He wouldn't say it, but you wonder if that hip was still bugging him last start.
Well, he was a completely different guy than we've seen all year. Something was bothering him, and whatever it was, he made his start. He makes this start, so he's got an opportunity to take the baseball and wants to make sure that he's taking the baseball every 5 days.
It's called a strike. 1-1 on Votto. Joey Votto on base plus slugging at .866 for the year. .425 on base percentage. Always near the top of baseball as Covey sneaks in strike 2.
Votto's lost 9 points on his batting average the past 2 games. So they have really held him down. Good scouting report, and the pitchers are executing against Votto.
I think Votto is trying to reconcile those 2 pitches. You see pitch number 2 was a little bit outside. 3 was on the corner. Aiming to reset on 1 and 2 from Dylan Covey. Can't blame Dylan for going back out there. 2 and 2.
No, good idea. Just a little wide of the plate. Votto has been susceptible to the high fastball in this series, and that goes against Dylan's strength, but it's a good place to go.
2-2. He struck him out downstairs. Dylan Covey, 2 grounders and a strikeout.
As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Moultrie Telecommunications in Lovington, Illinois.
One of my favorite towns.
Lovington?
Yep.
Did you look for Lovington in all the right places?
No, just there. Yeah.
Avisail Garcia will lead it off here in the second, then Polka and Smith. And this part of the order did major damage yesterday. Avi with a couple of home runs and his first walk of 2018.
How about that? Not surprised about the home runs, a little surprised about the walk.
Came in his final trip to the plate in the 12th inning. Suarez does clip him for route number 1. And Daniel Polka, not to be outdone by Avi's 2 home runs, did this.
This was a major blast. Off the batter's eye, almost hit it over the batter's eye. And then deciding to choose left center field, he drilled another.
Some home runs look high maintenance and high effort. His just looked like literally a flick of the wrist.
He's got a short swing and he's very strong.
That's pumped in for a strike from Romano. 1-1 to Polka. Sal Romano, 24 years old, out of Southington, Connecticut.
Talk about some pretty decent scouting. Romano, now a major league starter. Drafted in the 23rd round in June 2011. So you get a guy with very good size. He's got a good fastball. He's got to learn some finesse. If he can do that, he can pitch a long time in the major leagues.
Two balls and two strikes. He's got a little way to go to be one of the leaders in appearances for pitchers. Born in Connecticut, Craig Breslow, smart guy, 576. Ricky Bottalico, former closer. Jared Hughes, who's in the Cincinnati bullpen. And Rob Dibble, as that ball is laced down the line and foul. Those are your Connecticut-born leaders. And Romano against the American League has been outstanding.
Pretty spectacular numbers at 137 for an ERA. Opponents hitting just 203. The stuff is there. Question is, will he learn the off-speed pitches?
Well, those numbers suggest that the first look at him is not very clear.
No, that's for sure, but he falls into the category of most guys third time through, and there are exceptions. But third time through the order, Romano has some problems. That's because it's hard fastball, hard slider, and that's pretty much it.
Polka fights it away. Yeah, fifth inning an 8.40 ERA, sixth inning 7.94.
Not too good.
3-2. He struck him out. Up the ladder, third strikeout for Romano. Head of the Park Sunday, July 15th. Sox take on the Royals, 1:10 p.m. All kids 13 and under take home a play ball pitch grip baseball to teach you how to properly throw the most common major league pitches. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com today. The formal wear.
It's a good look.
Ground balls galore. And that's a 1-2-3 inning. Smith retired. Will play bottom two. Still looking for a base runner.
You can show your team pride with a White Sox checking, an official White Sox MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
And our flag was still there as the Sox fans overrun Great American Ballpark. Good day to have a fan if you're a fan.
It's a good day to have some ice if you're a fan.
Not going to have it for long, though.
True.
Ice is temporary today. And Scooter Gennett, the National League's leading hitter, takes ball number 1. So he's already got the name Scooter because of that childhood story we told you about a couple of days ago. And when he was with Milwaukee in spring training very early on in his tenure with the Brewers, as he hits the ball to center field, Engel is back at the warning track, and he makes the play for route number 1. Very early on in his tenure with the Brewers, he was in spring training, and he goes to his locker, and Bobby Crosby, veteran, had put up a picture of Justin Bieber in his locker because he felt like Scooter Gennett looked like Justin Bieber.
He's going to stick with Scooter, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. Although the Indians pitcher, Shane Bieber, doesn't really have much of a choice.
No, but he is really good.
Yeah.
So he throws all strikes, and I'm sure we'll see him next time we see the Indians, but they sent Plutko down because Bieber is throwing so well, and now he's got his opportunity.
Yeah, he's officially in that rotation, and in his last start, he walks out to the mound, and the song that they played in the ballpark was Baby by Justin Bieber. And that's not typically his walk-up music, of course. He wouldn't play into that, lean into the turn like that. So turns out it was Trevor Bauer and a couple of the other pitchers went to the music room and said, look, we got to do this. Shane Bieber blamed Jose Ramirez for it. Ramirez said, I didn't do anything. And then the pitchers were over in the corner laughing, as you pitchers do.
And that's what happened. Kluber was right in the middle of that. So team chemistry getting a whole lot better with the Indians, and they're starting to really flex their muscles in the Central. They get a 10.5 game lead. They've won 3 in a row, and they're going to make a shambles of this division. They're in the process of doing it as we speak.
1-2 flared foul by Eugenio Suarez, who leads the team in slugging percentage and also on base plus slugging. His OPS is .954, which is very large. 1-2 stays up.
Outfield very deep all the way around and pretty much straight away. Suarez does use the whole field.
He hits the ball hard too. Suarez, the exit velocity leader for Cincinnati at 92 miles an hour this season. I rounded up.
That's
Is that
good.
Okay with you?
That's good. It was close enough to illustrate pretty good stat.
Another foul ball from Suarez. Last night he did this.
That was first time up. Second 2-run homer in the first inning. That one not a cheapie.
If you hit the split the Pastime with a home run, you should at least get a portion of it. As Kobe goes away from the fastball and strikes him out for his second punch out tonight.
We'll take another look at this one, and Dylan Covey doesn't throw this very often, but as you can see here, it's very effective. That appeared to be a straight change with a lot of sink on it.
2 down for Winker. Who takes strike number 1.
There's been 11 men who have hit and 11 men who have been retired. No base runners for either team at this point. Winker is a very good fastball hitter.
He's watched a couple. He's 0-2.
Well, that was good late movement. I think he gave up on that one, and that one came back and caught most of the plate. Now, if he's going to go upstairs with this, he's got to get it way upstairs and throw it by him.
No swing, 1-2.
Good location for an 0-2 pitch. It was certainly one of those that might have been offered. Winker took it nicely.
Smith wants it down, and that pitch was away. 2-2.
That was a change again that floated outside. Adam Engel is the one guy that's in sunshine. He's right on the border of sunshine and some darkness in center field, but the sun is in his eyes.
On the ground up the middle and playable. Anderson throws him out to retire the side. The promo will have to wait. No score.
Appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
This being the 4th of July, the Cincinnati Reds have done a magnificent job honoring our military today with the national anthem sung by a retired sergeant. First pitch was by Army Major General Jeffrey Snow, and an honoree during the break as well. That was World War II veteran Kenneth Beard, who was honored during the break, Private First Class. And we thank everyone, wherever you might be watching, for your service. We get to play our games because of those folks.
We do indeed. And both of us certainly appreciate that, as well as baseball fans all over the country today celebrating July 4th.
That was spiked.
Yeah, that was a slider that probably went, I'm guessing 48 feet.
Do we have a launch angle off the turf?
Unless you're playing cricket, this probably isn't too good. That was on the grass.
That would have been a great shot in jacks. Yeah, time to pick up 20 or so off the ground. 1-2 for Tim Anderson, whose offensive numbers are up this season. 1-2. Line foul near the tarp, which we hope will stay right there.
Tim went up to get that one, too close to take. He fought it off. He's got a lot of base hits to right and right center field during this red hot stretch.
Seven multi-hit games the past couple of weeks for Tim Anderson. On the ground at third, Suarez has to really hurry, and that is futile. That is an infield single for Tim Anderson and the first base runner tonight.
No chance at all for Suarez. He was back. There were 2 strikes, and this little tapper Didn't get to him near in time for him to make the play. So wisely doesn't do anything with it except give it back to Romano.
Over the decade, batting average on ground balls has increased in Major League Baseball, and that play is not the type that's caused that. Batting average on ground balls has increased because of increased exit velocity on ground balls. That dribbler will go as a hit, and the Sox will take it.
Well,
now,
a couple different things play into it. Maple bats for one.
Yep.
More velocity off a maple bat. Also this year the baseball seems to be a little different, giving you a little more oomph to get out of the infield.
Engel flashed a bunt, but the pitcher's spot is coming up next. So he shelves the bunt, and it's a pop-up right side of the infield. Scooter Gennett has out number 1. Join us Saturday, July 14th. Sox take on the Royals, 1:10 p.m. It's a 93 reunion. Ozzie, Bo, Tim Raines, and more. A lot of guys are coming back. First 20,000 fans get a commemorative 93 authentic fan pennant presented by NBC Sports Chicago. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Unless Dillon can really hit, this is a bunt situation.
He can't.
Well, then square around, Dillon.
0 for 1 in his career.
Oh,
hey now.
Threw a surprise party for you. Not a bad idea, by the way.
No, not at all. I don't think even he would say he can really hit. I think he'd say he can hit.
Well, you never know.
He did not hit on the field today. He hit in the cage, for what that's worth.
It's because he didn't want to melt unnecessarily.
No, it's a smart call. His only previous at bat was against Pat Corbin in Arizona last year. And this bunt is foul, so 0-2. He did see 5 pitches in that trip to the plate. It was a strikeout.
Tim looking for stolen base number 19 if the bunt doesn't work, and you'd think that Dillon would be laying yet another one down.
Moncada next, Anderson at first. Tucker Barnhart, the great defensive catcher back there for Cincinnati.
Did a nice job of blocking that one and making sure that Tim couldn't advance. That's the slider. He does a nice job of making sure he angles the body. You want to lean forward, and that ball will just trickle away. No advancement. Good pitch to run for Tim right here.
He holds, and that ball downstairs. 2-2. Well, look, if he makes him waste some pitches, run that pitch count up, even a strikeout isn't a loss. Two. Anderson runs. It's a called strike 3. Tim is in there, stealing second base.
It's stolen base number 19 for Tim, who got a good jump. And even with the arm of Barnhart, he couldn't get him. That one pretty much stolen on Romano. He let him get too big a jump.
Two out for Moncada. And ball number 1 from Romano, who a bunch of years ago was hit with a comebacker, had to have his jaw wired shut for a couple of weeks. And that is an uneasy feeling to go back on the mound after something like that. No worse for the wear, however. as he throws strike one. Moncada ripped a 3-1 pitch to right field for 3 of those RBIs yesterday. That was in the 12th inning to hand the Sox the win and even the series at 1.
Nick Capper at third is going to wave everybody around. They're going to run on all of these red outfielders. Best arm is Hamilton, and he's on the bench.
One, two. In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, it is really difficult to get anything by Tucker Barnhart.
Well, that's why he won the Gold Glove last year. And why? You don't worry about wild pitches when he's behind the plate. Nice job of covering up the 5-hole and making sure nothing got by.
See how confident Romano is in his secondary stuff on 2 and 2. He goes fastball, just misses. 3 and 2. Sanchez next. Sox trying to crack the score column here in the 3rd. Anderson at second. 3 and 2. That ball is drilled right center field. Will it have enough? Yes, sir. 2-run home run, Yoan Moncada, and the Sox take the lead.
Trying to go at him with a fastball, which from the left side is not a good plan against Moncada. He hits his 11th. He's now driven in 40. So the numbers are starting to pile up for the young power hitter. A forward home run replay, and this one just enough to get it out. I think Schebler thought he had a shot at it, but this one just kept on drifting.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. Romano tried to English it into the ballpark.
Didn't work.
That's a smile you like to see from Yoan Moncada, whose road trip has gotten appreciably better the past couple of days.
And he hit this without the bases loaded, which is something that he hasn't done a whole lot of. He's been brilliant with the bases loaded. 5 hits in 11 tries and 14 driven in. I mean, on 5 hits, that is somewhat remarkable.
He's hit for the bases loaded cycle this year.
It is pretty amazing.
1-2. That threatened the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Off the bat, that home run, 100.7 miles an hour. 392 feet. 2-2. Club foul by Sanchez.
Romano's now given up 16 home runs. And if you're going to start in this ballpark as a home park, you're going to give up a lot of home runs.
Well, he threw the fastball on 2 and 2.
Yes.
And then he threw him another fastball.
Yeah, not a good plan normally. And Yoan just made him pay. From the left side where he gets the overwhelming majority of his at bats, if you stray with a fastball, he's going to hit it hard.
To first, Joey Votto tracks it down nicely and finds Romano. Yoan Moncada building the numbers. This one high in the air to clear the fence. 2-0 Sox after 2.5. 2-0 Sox in the third as Adam Duvall leads off for Cincinnati. Yohan Moncada, a 2-run home run. And Covey with a strike. This is a really interesting matchup considering what both of these guys have been through medically in their careers. Both Dylan Covey and Adam Duvall have type 1 diabetes. They both wear the pump and have it in their pocket during the game. You see the pump that Duvall is wearing. It's back in 2011. Weightlifting started to become really difficult for him, and they ran some tests and said, yeah, indeed, you have type 1 diabetes. And Covey, we've documented the story, after he took the physical from the first-round draft pick status he had with Milwaukee. Dylan Covey was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, passed up the offer from Milwaukee, and then eventually was drafted by Oakland, Rule 5 by the White Sox. But these are two guys who medically give a lot of hope to a lot of people.
Well, for Dylan Covey, got off to a great start, so it didn't really affect him at all this year, and throwing the ball very well when he came to the big leagues. And for Duvall, despite the lowly batting average, he's got big power numbers, 13 and 53. 53 runs driven in at this point is a lot of production out of a guy that hits down in the order. Hit a 3-run homer in the ball game last night. That coming in the 5th inning, and at that point it was 7-2 Reds. That lead dissolved, and so did the game for the Reds.
Sox jumped on this beleaguered Cincinnati bullpen. Anderson at shortstop has out number 1. Cincinnati 7 up, 7 down. Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Chicago White Sox. Into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1.
7 outs, 1 fly ball, so the sinker working well. And also Dylan is going up very effectively in the early going.
That is a 45 Michael Jordan jersey, I believe.
I would say that's good attire for the ball game tonight.
Somewhere Chuck Swirsky's watching this game, yelling out other number 45s from the Bulls. Happy 4th, Chuck. I'm just going to always believe that a 45 Bulls jersey is one of those non-23 Jordan jerseys. I think that's fair.
I would think so. Certainly.
To the corner, and a strike called. 1-2 on Jose Peraza.
That was pretty generous corner, but if that's where Gary Cederstrom is going to call the outside pitch, you might as well stay out there. Here's that change. Let's see if he keeps it down.
He did.
That was way down. You're not going to get hurt with that.
You asked for it.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that was downer than down. You heard higher than high? Well, that's the opposite. Not near as effective, by the way.
You keep going with that that language, you're going to end up the Grand Marshal in some Downers Grove parade.
Not bad.
In the air, foul ground, first base side, and no play for Jose.
Peraza now is the everyday shortstop, and the question will be just exactly if he's going to stay there. Their number 1 draft pick picked 1 pick behind the Sox is India from Florida, and he was a shortstop, played third base at Florida, but he prefers shortstop, and judging by the way he can hit, that may be his position.
Oh, he gave up on that ball, and it was close to the zone. Don't want to walk the 8-hitter. Don't want to walk anybody, really.
No, because that sets up the bunt for a pitcher who can't hit in Romano.
Center field, Engel. And Adams' cheering section certainly happy about that. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today, right now, at rate.com.
You know, we're not going to say that last night's game will turn around this season, because that's not the case. But you have to have a game like last night every now and then, because it gives the team number one, a sense of confidence that they can come back in a game, but also it illustrates the fact that they will not ever give up in a ball game. Doesn't matter how far they're down, they're going to keep chipping away at it as they did last night. And sometimes if you do that, you wind up winning a game that probably you should have lost.
There are a lot of fans out there who have stuck with this team and certainly understand the rebuild, but even for those most dedicated fans to be invigorated by such a fun win last night. It was fun for us. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it was an entertaining game because there were so many aspects to it. There was a lot of close calls, a lot of replays, certainly a lot of calls sent to New York to take a look at, a manager ejection, a lot of pensmen, and both teams pretty much out of players by the time it ended.
Yeah, the benches cleared, and not because of a brawl.
No.
2-2, Covey to Romano. Now is the time to throw a strike.
Well, you just want to throw a fastball right down the middle and say, okay, you're hitting 038. So let's see how far you can hit it.
3-2. On the ground, first base side. Abreu has time to win the race. And that is a 1-2-3 inning. Where's a Birmingham Barons Jordan jersey? Huh? Pick Pito to represent your Chicago White Sox to the 2018 All-Star Game. Help send Jose Abreu to Washington, D.C. this summer. Voting ends tomorrow, so click right now. He's batting. You have a perfect opportunity. Vote right now, whitesox.com/vote to submit your All-Star ballot. He's very worthy.
And we're going to see his lone competition up close and personal, Yuri Gurriel, as we go and play the Houstons 4 times in Houston. But with Correa and McCann out, yes, they'll be good. Yes, the rotation is still great, but they won't be quite as potent offensively.
And that's a good sign, because you look at those guys, especially the 7, 8, and 9 hitters last year. They had like 2 sets of 3, 4, 5 hitters in that lineup.
Yeah, that's a good offense.
Pitching matchups. The Sox will face Verlander, McCullers, Morton, and Keuchel in Houston. One and one to Jose Abreu.
What you have to hope is Jose doesn't hit a chopper in the infield and then have to beat it out. Clean hit, home run, something along those lines would be preferable.
To third base, and one away. Javi Garcia coming up. Ground ball to third in the second inning, but he didn't have many of those last night.
And neither one a cheapie, both in the upper deck.
Both crushed, both over 112 miles an hour.
Talked to Jeff Brantley, who does radio along with Marty Brenneman for these Reds, and he was shocked at how strong Javi was. I said, well, you take a look at how big he is. You know that he's strong. It's just a question of, for him, getting the ball in the air, because last year, hitting .330, he hit a lot of balls on the ground. When he does get them in the air, they go a long way. What, 481 in Toronto earlier this year?
Yeah, still the second longest home run hit in Major League Baseball as that ball slugged to center field on a line for Schebler. To that point you were making, Steve, the exit velocities for Javi since he's returned from the disabled list, you throw the ball inside to him and he is just pounding the ball.
That used to be the place where most people would go. If they didn't go with the slider well out of the zone, they went with the inside fastball. And this year, since coming back, he's making people pay for it. He hit that ball surprisingly hard and didn't get a whole lot in the swing, and it went a long way to Schebler in center.
Yeah, it's easy power. Same for Polka. How would you describe your power?
I had deceptive power. I hit the ball deceptively soft. Yeah, I remember hitting many a ground ball that couldn't get to the infielders.
They were all infield singles, right, with your foot speed?
Well, it's actually very difficult to bail out as much as I did and still keep your bat through the zone, as they say. It stayed in the zone a long time. It led the world in ground balls to second base as a right-hand hitter.
We got to pull up your spray chart at some point. Do they have that?
They didn't have it back then, no.
It's not in a tablet of some kind?
I don't think so. I think I hit 2 doubles in my career, something like that.
2-1 is in. 3 balls and a strike on Polka.
Sox fans enjoying the baseball and hoping the Sox can build on this lead and take the series from the Reds.
He looks cranky.
Not enough runs for him. I can understand that. It's only 2.
Polka hits it well right center field, and another poke smash. 3-0 Sox.
Well, when you talk about strong hitters, yes, there's guys who might hit him a little farther on occasion. There's not many stronger than Daniel Polka. All Schebler did was look up, and that ball was 3/4 of the way up the stands in right center field. Yikes. A blast. Our forward home run replay. Barnhart wants it low and away. He doesn't get it there. He gets it up and out over the plate. And Daniel knows exactly what to do with it. This is just a mammoth shot. .432 feet, they say. Barnhart out to talk with Romano, probably suggesting that if I'm sitting low and away, please don't throw it up and out over the plate. These guys are really strong. Now, that's joyous for him. A lot of you think that he doesn't look happy, but that's actually, he's exuberant.
Over the moon.
You should see when he gets cranky.
Kevin Smith takes ball 1. One ball, 1 strike on Smith, who grounded out to third in the second inning. Kevin still right around .330 for the year. That's 23 for 70. off his body. Well, the Sox home run power is starting to show its face. Last couple of weeks, the Sox have started to hit the ball very well out of the ballpark.
One of the things we told you starting out on this trip, and we were talking about it, the final series back in Chicago, was the fact that all three parks on this trip, the one in Arlington, the one here, and the one in Houston, they're all hitters' ballparks, especially the first two, Texas and here.
Up the middle, center field, base hit. Well, the Sox got Avisail and Leury Garcia back in that series against Oakland, and since they've returned, the Sox average is up to 284, nearly 6 runs per game. Double-figure hits are up, and the stolen bases too. Offense is humming right now.
And Leury came through with a big hit last night despite having an injured finger. He was called on a pinch hit. He got his fastball inside and tied up the ball game. And there is Avi, who tied it up late for a second time.
Now 17 homers the last 12 games for the Sox after 6 in the 16 before. Control starting to get hazy for Romano after the home run and single combination.
Very difficult if you're going to be only a 2-pitch pitcher and both of them are throwing hard. You're going to give up a lot of home runs.
To third, and Suarez across the diamond on target for out number 3, but Daniel Polka smile because of this. Ball just absolutely crushed up the stands. Daniel Polka showing the power again.
Can't miss the best show in town. Baseball Night in Chicago, presented by Chick-fil-A. Join Brian Anderson and Layla Rahimi as they break down the biggest stories surrounding the White Sox and the Cubs. That's tomorrow at 6:30 on NBC Sports Chicago.
And cheers to you wherever you might be on this 4th of July, where the Sox lead Cincinnati 3-0. Sox have won 7 of 8 on Independence Day. The loss came last year in Oakland. Sox have been quite good on America's birthday. That ball does clip the zone. 1-1 in the estimation of Gary Cedarstrom.
Schebler has two different stances, which is most unusual, and he uses them periodically throughout the at-bat. One is crouched well over, and the other is as a stand-up hitter, and that's what he's looking like here.
2 strikes. He goes and squats down some.
Yeah. He will make an adjustment, and I think that's in an effort to get him to lay off the face-high fastball, which, standing straight up, he swings at a lot.
Two and one, Covey to Schebler. There's Rosie taking a picture with a couple of youngsters. No relation to Bob Rosenberg, though you wouldn't know it by looking at them side by side.
I should hope not. And you never see them in the same room. Remember that.
You just changed the call. It's an error now. Fouled away.
Gonna throw that high fastball by him, and Schebler is able to extend the at bat.
Sox fans everywhere. Three and two. Line foul, third base side.
Billy Hatcher, third base coach, was able to get out of the way. Still showing those cat quick reflexes.
Got some wheels.
He did. Yep.
Three and two. Up and out, first base runner tonight for Cincinnati. Here's your Sox math question. Hashtag Sox math. First correct answer wins a prize from the road. Innings in last night's game divided by Sox hits in that final inning, minus the number of bases those hits totaled, and then add the number of letters in the last name of the player with the game winner. So all that coming in the final inning. That's your Sox math question.
Billy Hatcher did indeed have wheels, 218 lifetime stolen bases. It's going to be interesting here, and Kevin is going to go out there maybe to address it, but this is the first time Dylan's been in the stretch. And sometimes when that happens for the first time, even if it's a fourth inning, you're not able to locate the strike zone all that often. Kevin wants to go out there and make sure that he settles down, thinks about throwing a ground ball, and maybe throw a double play with a slow running catcher up.
Don Cooper taking it in, mulling it over. In the air, into left. Adams says it's mine. Daniel go away, and there's out number one. Family Sundays, tickets as low as $5 in the upper level, $15 in the lower level, and parking for only $10. Plus, special family-focused activities located throughout the ballpark. Family Sundays, proudly presented by the fine folks at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. Visit whitesox.com/Sundays to get your tickets today. Well, it's Family Wednesday at the ballpark for those Sox fans. Cincinnati's only about a 4-hour drive, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's real easy to get down here, and a lot of folks have taken advantage of that.
Votto takes a called strike, and Joey Votto, He's got such a grasp of the strike zone, right? And the last couple of nights, he's going crazy in the batter's box because there have been 4 or 5 pitches that he's thought are out of the zone. He's been right, and they've been called strikes, at least according to PitchCast.
Well, 2-0 is a whole lot different than 1-1 as Votto grounded into 10 double plays this year. That's second on the club. We talked about it in this series, the fact that he has walked more than he's struck out. He's going to fly over 100 walks this year. 66 walks, 56 strikeouts.
Two one. It's outside, 3 balls and a strike. Bonus base runners in this part of the order is a bad idea, considering the home run pop of Jeanette and Suarez with a combined 31. Schebler at first holds, and Votto lifts it to left field. Polka can't get there. He has to play it on a hop. And it's the first hit tonight for Cincinnati. It comes from Joey Votto, and it's his first in this series.
Opposite field, dropped in front of Polka, and nothing he could do about it. Is this one not hit hard, but hit in a perfect spot? Votto got it off the end of the bat. And 2 on with 1 out.
Scooter Gennett, the batter. Sox with 3 runs on homers, Moncada and Polka. Covey would love a ground ball here. He's been up for the most part.
Yeah, and falling behind consistently for a sinker ball pitcher, and up for a sinker ball pitcher. That turns into runs, and Jeanette has been one of the best hitters around. Uses a long bat and takes it right down to the end.
That's a strike. Up in the zone, 1-1.
Runs in scoring position, he's been awfully good. Of course, you look at all of his numbers, and they've all been good.
Yeah, that's actually down from his season average. One and one. Fouled back to the screen. 1-2. Scooter Gennett had a big home run last night for Cincinnati.
It was a curveball down and in, and Lucas said that not worried about that at all. That would not been a home run just about anywhere, but it was here. It was actually a pretty decent curveball. Was able to get the head of the bat on it and literally pop it up. It just didn't come down.
One and two. Close pitch. A sticky one out there. Dylan Covey feeling the full effects in a long 4th inning so far. 2-2. Four full counts already for Covey. A lot of pitches, 67. Two balls, 2 strikes. Schebler at second, Votto at first. Jeanette wands it to right field. Avi on the move, lays out, can't make the play. Engel backing him up, throws it in. Schebler scores, and Cincinnati is on the board for the first time tonight.
RBI number 57 for Jeanette. And a nice job of backing up by Engel. This one gets by. It's at least one more run and maybe a triple for Jeanette. So Votto has to hold up. Doesn't know if Avi's going to come up with it. He doesn't. And this base hit plates the leadoff walk. So Don Cooper walking to the mound. But for the first time tonight, Covey's in trouble.
Back-to-back hits. Suarez coming up. And a Sox starting rotation which has an ERA over 5 this year, trying to give the bullpen a respite tonight.
What happened in this one is Dillon was working very quickly. He went 3 up and 3 down the first 3 innings. Then the leadoff walk in this inning, and he slowed it way down tempo-wise to a crawl. And when you don't have your rhythm, it's almost impossible to get it if you deviate from how you were successful, and that was getting it and throwing it through 3.
He's got Suarez to deal with. First pitch hunting into center field. Engel drives a throw in to keep the runner at third. Votto can't score. Jeanette to second. Bases loaded for Winker.
Billy Hatcher did a nice job of coaching, because Votto on a hard hit ball is just not going to score. Engel very aggressively comes in and then makes a pretty good throw to the plate. So he smothers the short hop in center field, and then it was off the mark, but no thought of scoring Joey Votto. We're with the bases loaded for Winker has been very impressive.
It's 2 for 6 in the series. And he takes ball number 1 low. Votto at third, Jeanette at second, Suarez at first behind Covey.
Not the greatest speed on the bases, but this is very much of a hitter's park.
Up the middle and scorched. Votto scores. Jeanette waved around. Engel's throw is late, and the Reds have tied the game thanks to 4 consecutive hits.
Winker drives in runs 34 and 35. And the enchantment of the first 3 innings has gone away. This one right back up the middle. Billy Hatcher says, Scooter Jeanette, they can't throw you out from there.
Engel pressed into a couple of throws back to back, and Jeanette too quick. Duvall with the double play to get out of the inning still available. There's strike 1. Easy first 3 for Dylan Covey, and then 25 here in the 4th.
Well, the leadoff walk to Schebler and then moving into the stretch for the first time has not been kind to Dylan Covey.
Oh, 1. Check swing. Now he tries to sell it, and he got hit. The word is that he got hit. Cedarstrom points to first. Ricky Renteria is going to come out to the top step at least to argue. It wasn't an immediate decision.
Wasn't an immediate reaction. Normally you get hit on the hand and you're going to show it right away. Duvall did not at that point. And then Gary Cedarstrom said it did indeed hit him.
So that will reload the bases. Watch, see how long it takes for him to react. I think that got the bat, Steve.
It looked to me like it did. I don't think it got the hand at all. I think he's trying to sell the call personally, but
ow. Ow, it hurts. I mean, look. Fair is fair. They do it in soccer. Why not here? Bases loaded, one down. Peraza, the batter. This is a big batter because the pitcher's spot is next. Duvall, Winker, and Suarez jamming the bases for Cincinnati. Up the middle again. Suarez was waving Winker home as he came to the plate. The throw ends up at the backstop. Peraza into second, Duvall into third. Cincinnati has grabbed the lead.
Dylan Covey wasn't backing up the plate, and it cost him 90 feet. The Reds' bats have come to life. They got 5 on the board. Peraza goes up the middle. He's now driven in 29 runs, and this throw is airmail. He's in good position to throw, but launches it over the head of Kevin Smith, and Dylan Covey is not around.
So the pitcher Romano takes ball number 1, and he worked the count to 3-2 last time up. So now for a battered Sox bullpen in terms of usage, Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper need some outs. Especially because Cincinnati has restocked its bullpen, calling up a couple of guys from AAA Louisville.
A couple of hard throwing pitchers also. So the young pitchers who throw hard, and there's one less move on the bench for Jim Riggleman. So now Kevin Smith out to the mound to settle down Dylan Covey, who's run into a buzzsaw here in the 4th inning.
You thought he was unhappy earlier.
Going to the bottle.
There's Stoic, and there's that. Luis Avilan. Infield in, and the bunt jab down. That gets a run home. Nicely done by Romano and the Reds. Duvall scores. Peraza to third, and the first RBI for Romano in his career.
Good timing, because that was a safety squeeze. No, actually it's a suicide squeeze, but he waited till Dylan threw it, and there wasn't any play at the plate. On a suicide, you just have to make contact, get it anywhere on the grass, and that is going to be it for Dylan Covey. So he will exit this one. Luis Avilan will come on to try to stem the tide. And a very disappointed Dylan Covey, as we'll step out and be back after these messages. the Final Four. MLB wives battle it out on the field for a good cause, and one authentic fan went from Mount Everest to the mound. The Extra Point, Saturday at 12 on NBC Sports Chicago. Time now for the Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And Luis Avilan comes into this a little sooner than he and the Sox would have liked. On for the 39th time. He's 2-0, his ERA at 4.38. He's probably going to be asked to throw an inning and 2/3.
Just got to have outs.
The leadoff walk very costly with Schebler, only because it put Dylan Covey in the stretch, and then he lost all release points, and a lot of balls right back through the middle against him, and they all went into center field.
Bunt shown, strike taken by Schebler. This is a good lineup for a left-handed pitcher. Schebler, Votto, Jeanette, Winker, all left-handers. Oh, 1. There's a hook in for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes. Peraza at third, and Avilan cuts down Schebler in 3 pitches, but Cincinnati grabs a big number to take the lead. Touchstones of the Sox history, and it's Lamar Hoyt, who spent 6 seasons winning the Cy Young in '83, came over for Bucky Dent, traded for Ozzie Guillen later. Ex-tough kid Hoyt spurs Chi Sox. Perseverance pays off. He says Comiskey Park is his kind of park. Perfect for me, a big park. A batter really has to crunch it to get it out. Got to really crunch it.
Yeah, they did.
'83 AL MVP Lamar Hoyt. December of '84, sent to the Padres for Ozzie Guillen, among others. 1-1 for Adam Engel. 2 balls and a strike. We told you Adam is sleeping in his own bed this series. Has a house here in the offseason from Cincinnati. And his cheering section was the talk of the clubhouse today and last night. They were out in left field doing a little heckling of the left fielder last night. And the loudest cheering section in the ballpark. He is beloved by his family and friends. Adam Engel, as he slices this ball to left field, and he's 1 for 2.
Adam hit that one awfully hard. That was a rocket right in front of Duvall. So he's hitting a lot better these days. Get that batting average up above 220. And now a bunt situation you would assume for Avilan.
Luis is 1 for 6 in his career. His only hit came in 2012. Oh, 0-1 to Luis Avilan. Dylan Covey finishes 3 2/3 after a brilliant start. Gave up 6 runs, all earned. He walked 1, struck out 2, and hit a batter. Don't figure Avilan expected to have a bat tonight.
No, not by the technique on those 2 bunts. He came over from the National League, came over from the Dodgers, so probably where he was throwing in a ball game, he didn't get many at bats.
That's strike 3. That was the rarity in Sox history in this ballpark, though, because John Garland back in 2006 with a tater, his only career home run against Cincinnati, June 18th, 2006, and a big old smile for Johnny Garland. How about that moment? I was actually here as a fan. It was a great day. Sox swept Cincinnati in that series. It was off of Esteban Yan.
I remember him.
So does John.
What were you doing here? Your reform school just down the road?
No. So a couple of my friends in Chicago and I decided that we were going to get in the car.
A road trip.
And drive down for the weekend, like some Sox fans have done here. And we got in the car. We drove down. We're just about to Cincinnati, maybe about 20 miles outside the city, a couple hours before the game. And we got a flat tire.
Ooh. Fortunately, you were right on top of that.
Yeah, right on top of calling AAA. It was taking a while, though, and so a police officer comes by and stops and gets out of the car and asks what the deal is. And we say that we called AAA and there was an issue and tires not really inflated anymore. And so this guy helps us put the spare. This is going to shock you, but I didn't know how to change a tire.
No.
It's really surprising.
Really?
I know. And neither did my friends. So the police officer kicks the tire off, puts the little donut on, and escorts us to some tire shop in the West End here in Cincinnati. We get a tire. We buy 1 tire. How often do you get to do that? Get to the hotel, get here for the game.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
A great time. Had my first Skyline chili on that trip.
Ooh, that started a reign of terror.
And then John Garland hit himself a home run, and it was a very memorable weekend. So thanks to Cincinnati's finest for helping get us to the games. Sure, my friends Bill, Adam, and Jonathan are very happy to hear that story on television. 1-2. And Moncada spoils it foul.
Red's pen up and going. Garrett, left-hander on the right, and Rainey, the hard-throwing right-hander, on the left. He was one of the guys recently recalled.
Why is there not a mandate that the left-handers on the left and the right-handers on the right? Why couldn't we collectively bargain for that?
Because they'd both be throwing in the same spot, essentially.
Fine. It's more fun that way.
Tough on the catchers.
Just swing and a miss, strike 3. First base occupied, and so Moncada, though he dashed there safely, is out. Engel to second base, and 2 down. Here's your Sox math winner. for tonight. We told you that he's going to win at some point. Jay Reese is your winner. 12 innings, 2 hits in the inning. That's 6 minus 6 bases, the 2 triples. Hashtag triples derby. Plus 7 letters in Moncada. 7 is the answer. Jay Reese was first in. Congratulations. You win a prize from the road. It could be a used tire from 12 years ago. Yolmer Sanchez with Engel at second. Takes high, ball 1. Ball and a strike on Sanchez.
This is the 3rd time through, and that's one of the reasons why the bullpen is up and going, as Romano now on a short leash. With a 3-run lead, however, starters really enjoy getting through the 5th inning and at least qualifying for a win.
Especially shielding a bullpen that could use a good night of sleep.
That is true, and if you're in this park every day, you're going to make liberal use of that pen.
Who's that signature on that hat? Anyone?
No idea.
1-2. Upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Who is that? Anybody on Twitter know who that signature is? I can't make it out. Somebody can roll that back on their DVR, take a picture and figure it out, right? We've got to have a handwriting expert in the crowd somewhere.
We'll see.
2-2. Upstairs, 3 balls and 2 strikes. I have full faith in our audience to figure something like that out.
Jose Abreu in the on-deck circle. If Yolmer can keep it alive. And the question for Jim Riggleman is, do you leave Romano in the game?
I think so.
You would think. I mean, Garrett is one of their late inning guys, and he's got him warmed up here in the 5th.
3-2. Well, as you said, you play in this park as your home park. You've got to believe more runs are going to come up. You've got to believe in your offense, especially the way Cincinnati's been hitting the ball.
Well, this is very similar to managing in Colorado in that you just have to be more patient with your starting pitchers. They're going to give up a lot more runs because you're going to go to the bullpen later than you normally would. You start pulling pitchers out before the 5th inning, you're going to have a decimated pen come August.
Sanchez, left center field, and Ellyworthy down to the wall. Engel scores. Sanchez to second base, 6-4.
Double and a run batted in for Yolmer, who now has 39. Pretty good total as this one floats out away. It's the off-speed pitch. It's 89 miles an hour. But it was up in the eyes of Yolmer, and he drilled it into left center field. No chance at all for Duvall. Danny Darwin, the interim pitching coach, and boy, is he happy now.
The many faces and the many popcorns of the happiest Sox fan in attendance.
Former Sox pitcher Danny Darwin was named interim pitching coach for an interim manager, Jim Riggleman.
Yolmer Sanchez, the RBI double. By the way, the votes are coming in. Our Twitter gumshoes have spied what they think is the correct signature there, the correct player who signed that hat.
Yeah. Ed Walsh.
Overwhelmingly It's not Ed Walsh.
It isn't. Okay. Well,
Overwhelmingly, Tim Anderson is the answer. I love baseball fans. I love Sox fans because you know when you see something like that, there are people out there who love this team so much and have so much memorabilia that they can pick out the signature from 5 seconds on TV. That is true fandom right there.
2 outs and runners in scoring position. Jose Abreu has been really tough this year.
There it is. See, there have been a couple Jose Abreu votes, and I think you could make the argument it's him too. But I would say Tim Anderson is probably the correct answer.
We'll see.
When? Upstairs, 2-1.
We'll find out in Houston.
We'll have them sign. Each of them can sign a piece of paper, and we'll show it to you tomorrow. Perfect. This guy had no idea when he was putting that hat on that he was going to become a guessing game for Sox Twitter. You're getting sleepy.
Yes, his son is mesmerized.
2-1. Jose expands the zone, 2-2. You'd have to believe if this is a hit, Romano's done.
I would think so, especially the way Avi has been swinging it recently. And I'm sure that hasn't escaped the notice of Jim Riggleman.
Two and two, Romano to Abreu. Jose hits it in the air and foul. Two balls, 2 strikes, 94 pitches. A short road to a high pitch count for both starters tonight. Up the middle, Jeanette. Double clutch on target, and Abreu with a bad wheel thrown out. Sanchez drives in a run. Autograph specialist Chuck Garfien with an update after this.
needing a chiropractor.
Here's what I love about that. The first moment Joe knows it's happening, if you watch his hands, he starts to fight back. And it's completely futile because Abreu can overpower just about everybody. He just wants to play. Look, he just wants to play. And the umpire, the plate umpire, Gary Cedarstrom, was still behind the plate, so a little bit of a delay. And this is not an easy job. I know it's easy to criticize umpires, and everybody's got a bad day, but to stay focused for as long as they do in this sort of weather is not an easy thing.
No, especially with heat index at 106 or 107 degrees. A lot of humidity here and some high temps.
Luis Avilan as the first pitch pumped foul. 10 batters in the fourth inning for Cincinnati, a 6-run fourth. It's the type of weather where you walk outside and about 45 seconds later you're like, why am I sweating? And that one somehow found its way around Barnhart.
I don't know how he got out of the way of that, but he managed to.
Indianapolis' own, Brownsburg specifically, Tucker Barnhart.
Switch hitter much better from the right side. In fact, 150 points, but 135 points better from the right side. However, all 5 of his home runs have come left-handed.
One, two. That's called strike 3. Avilan has punched out a pair, and it's time to get out your credit card and go to the swap meet. You can play along at home with your friends. Pick one, left or right. For his 1,500 MLB games, the founding father of swap on this July 4th, Chris Kampka. I think you picked first last time?
Sure.
Okay. I like the on base and slugging on the left. It seems like a trap, but I'm going to take the guy on the left.
Okay, then I'll take the guy on the right.
Sounds fair.
Okay.
Yeah. Heads I win, tails you lose. It's a strike to Joey Votto, who's 1 for 2. First 1,500 games. Who could it be? Cincinnati and the Sox. There's always some sort of hook. No balls, 2 strikes. Avilan to Votto. Remember, the Sox last night came back from 7-2 down, and then trailing 1-0 in the 7th in the opener, got 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, only to see Cincinnati score 4 in the 8th to win the game. 1-2. It swung on and missed. Strike 3. Avilan, 3 straight punch outs upon entering the game. As we take a look at the checkout line at the swap meet. Very air conditioned. Always nice to shop there on a hot day. For his 1,500 career games, I got the guy on the left. Steve's got the guy on the right. Who did we buy? Joey Votto and Maglio Ordonez. Huh.
Very similar. But the runs batted in, very heavily favored to my guy. So you lose again.
Well, I wish I had Maglio Ordonez. He was one of my favorite players.
I rest my case. You lose again.
But why does it have to be a win-loss zero-sum game.
That's the nature of this particular game.
The swap meet is zero-sum.
I win and you lose.
Seems like the game's generally biased that direction. 0-1 to Jeanette.
Dave Ross agrees. He's doing everything. Most everything.
Yeah, agreeing with you for the most part.
Well, that's one of his endearing qualities.
How to be Steve Stone's friend. Disagree with Jason. Breaking ball upstairs. 2-1 on Scooter Jeanette.
The bullpen, both tonight and last night, striking out a whole lot of people. I mean, total, it's 8 innings. In total, it's 15 strikeouts from the bullpen, with 12 coming last night, highlighted by 6 from Hector Santiago in 2 innings.
That was maybe Hector's best stuff of the season.
I thought he threw really well. Of course, by that time, there were a few tired Reds, especially after the onslaught in the 12th.
Two is fouled off. Well, most strikeouts per 9. The Sox bullpen in the American League is number 5. And this is for a group overall as a pitching staff that's near the bottom of Major League Baseball in strikeouts, but the bullpen is holding up its end of the bargain.
One of the big strikeout guys, Nate Jones, disabled. And a little turnover in the pen.
Well, the pinball hits Scooter. 3-2. Nate does have a cheering section here in Cincinnati as well. He's a Kentucky guy, went to Northern Kentucky University just across the river. And so the Angles are here, the Joneses are here, and Daryl Boston has had some family at the ballpark. Daryl went to high school at Woodward in Cincinnati. Three and 2 to first. Jose sweeps it up and stops the bag. Avilan four-faced. None shall pass. Daryl Boston, Cincinnati's finest. Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Amir Garrett comes in the ball game, so Romano is done at 5 innings. You look at Garrett on for the 41st time. He's been a very busy man with an ERA just under 3. 50 strikeouts in 42 2/3. And for Romano, 5 innings, 4 runs on 6 hits, didn't walk anybody. That kept him in the ball game. He's a pitcher of record. He fanned 6 tonight.
Here's the curious thing here. Amir Garrett comes in to face Avisail Garcia, who had the #1 batting average against left-handed pitchers in Major League Baseball last year at .424.
New year. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. A little late, maybe. Avi smokes this ball to left field. And he's going to try for 2. Avi on his way. Throw is not in time. He legs out a double. That sneaky speed for the big guy has a 2-base hit.
Well, he saw Duvall go down and slide into that catch for whatever reason, and he came up throwing, but you can't get too much on the throw. We'll watch it again, and he got to the ball. Avi hit it awfully hard. He gets to it and then slides, turns, gets the ball back in, but a little bit of a looping throw, and that's all it took for Avi to slide safely into second base. So a ringing double to lead it off here in the 6th.
That hamstring and knee combination must feel just fine.
Well, you would certainly think so.
Polka swings at strike 1. Amir Garrett's thrown now 3 straight days, and maybe part of the reason he faced Avi is Riggleman wanted to go to the bullpen. He wanted a lefty for Polka and just figured let him face Garcia and see what happens.
Didn't work out well. Sox pen up and going. Bruce Rondon, who pitched a good inning last night.
While the Reds have made changes in terms of personnel in their relief corps with 2 guys up from AAA, the Sox pen is none the richer so far in terms of shifting players. Well, they pitched very well last night. Fry, the only one who allowed an earned run. As Daniel sizes up Garrett, he's seen 4 now, 2-2. Avi at second, nobody out. That's ball 3, and the Sox have made Garrett's life very difficult in this series. He did get the strikeout yesterday that he wanted against Polka, but Daniels worked him to full, and Kevin Smith waiting next. Payoff coming. He struck him out.
Went to the slider and sweeping out of the zone. Too tantalizing to take, but you can't hit it there. Good pitch by Garrett.
One down, Kevin Smith. Garrett now part of a 9-man bullpen for Cincinnati, trading Dixon, the bench player, offensively for an extra reliever, even with the off day coming up.
You can understand that in this ballpark. This is almost like a pinball game, and that doesn't matter what lead you have, it's never really safe. Too many balls go flying out of here, and if you can't throw ground balls consistently, you're going to have a high earned run average here. And there really isn't any part of this park that you can pitch to. It's fairly easy to hit the ball out of this park in any direction.
And from what we've seen in limited time and watching some on TV, it seems like the ball carries very well to center field too.
There's no doubt. I mean, it's just all over. It's been very lively since they opened it.
How much can you know when you're building a ballpark?
Well, for instance, they did not know in Minnesota how that park would play. They didn't realize when they opened the doors there at Target Field that it would be very much of a pitcher's park. And it's been from the beginning. Used to drive Twins crazy there. Remember Mike Kadire hitting a drive to left center field and running down to first base, grabbing his helmet, firing it down on the ground because he thought he got every bit of it. And Alex Rios went back and made the catch easily. I mean, it wasn't one of those that was going to leave the ballpark. He caught it in the field of play. So you don't really know when you're building it. You just don't know how the cross currents are going to work, how the wind is going to affect it, where it swirls, where it doesn't. You have to play and see what happens.
Eventually that can affect your ability to draw free agents depending on how it plays, right?
Well, look at the difference in Joe Mauer's numbers, because his line drives in the Metrodome went out of the ballpark, but his line drives at Target Field are doubles. And he became a guy that was not a particularly big run producer and a guy who has to hit in the top of the lineup instead of somewhere as a run producer.
Quick pitch on the ground. Peraza slings it for out number 2. Where did you really like to pitch?
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Great pitcher's park. Was before they put the inner fence in. It was just really comfortable there. I think the Dodgers for many, many years had a pitching rich organization and they catered to their pitchers. I think they made a pitcher's park. I thought they were very happy with it and I loved it. You appeared to be a little bit closer to the plate. Had some really good games there.
Appeared to be closer to the plate.
Yeah, you really did. It didn't seem 60 feet 6 inches. It seemed closer. Maybe it was the backdrop, what you were throwing into. I don't know, but it just seemed closer and you had more confidence there. At least I did.
I was going to say, even if it just feels like it, there's a psychological effect.
Yeah. And pitchers have different preferences. I mean, I'd love to pitch in Baltimore, but some people say that they didn't like it because of the intense heat and humidity. But I thought it was just great. That was at the old stadium, however.
Yeah, before Camden Yards.
Yeah, you won't find too many pitchers that tell you this is a great place to pitch at Camden Yards. Reds pen up and going. Michael Lorenzen, who we saw last night.
Saw everybody last night.
We did indeed. He came in relief for DeSclafani. Pitched an inning and a third, gave up 3 hits and a run.
A couple innings away from seeing David Weathers last night.
Could have been 2.
1-1. Garrett goes inside 1-2. Avi at second after a leadoff double. Former basketball star Amir Garrett played at St. John's. Tim Anderson, whose first love was basketball. Tim drives it to left field. Duvall at the line, runs out of room. Cincinnati's bullpen utilized in a big way last night. 7 relievers, one of which has been traded, Dylan Floro, to the Dodgers.
That happened in a hurry.
Yeah, we thought there'd be movement, but up and down, not sideways.
Floro last night pitched an inning and 2/3. Didn't give up any runs, did give up a hit, and now he's a Dodger.
Talked to a couple of Sox hitters that felt like Floro had really good stuff. And the Dodgers certainly felt that way.
And the Reds got a couple of young players back.
1-2 for Anderson. Cincinnati on the strength of a 6-run fourth with the lead by 2. Garrett strikes him out with a breaking ball inside. Hobby stranded, and Cincinnati don't need any more heat here. Maybe jump in the river and cool off. 4th of July from the Queen City.
New battery, and we'll go to Omar Narvaez, who checks in behind the plate. Kevin Smith had a couple of days of extreme heat behind the plate, and Bruce Rondon comes on for the 32nd time. He's 2-3. His ERA 8. Last night he pitched a clean inning. Well, not clean, but he didn't give up a run. So hopefully more of the same here tonight.
First pitch. Line to third. Sanchez on the case.
Nice play by Yolmer. Line drive to his left. He's able to keep it out of left field. That was a sinking line drive as Suarez hit it off the end of the bat. Nice play, Yolmer.
And one down. So with the catcher swap, which sounds like a terrible reality show.
Yes, it is.
Narvaez is going to bat in the 9 position, so he'll be up second in the 7th inning. Maybe we can get the Astros to play extras with the Rangers tonight. It's 4-4 in the 6th. Sox will be in Houston for 4 this weekend.
Astros have come back from 4-0 down.
Ball and a strike on Winker. Two balls, one strike from Rondon. And Winker nubs it foul. Weighted runs created plus, a way to measure a holistic offensive performance. This is the last 2 weeks. Lindor, Muncy, Cruz, and then 2 guys in this game, Winker and Garcia. The average is 100. So every point above 100 you are, that's a percentage point above league average. So Winker and Garcia more than 120% better than the average batter last 2 weeks. As this ball is lifted to left, Polka at the wall. It is gone.
It stayed in the
Off
park.
the wall, off the top of the
It
wall.
stayed in the park. I think Winker wants a home run, but it looks to me like that ball hit off the top of the wall and stayed in.
I thought it left, Steve.
Well, no, the Cincinnati fan says it was a home run, but of course they would. They thought the last ground ball was a home run.
Well, who needs to go to New York for the replay when you have 3 rows of people saying it's a homer?
We'll take another look. That ball stayed in the park.
It did stay in the park.
Yes, it did.
They were sitting right there and they thought it was gone. How did that happen?
Well, I don't believe they actually thought it was gone. I think they were hoping it was gone, and maybe they could convince the umpiring crew, but no such luck for them.
Off the very top of the yellow line.
#12th double of the year, and Winker's having a good night. 2 for 3 with a run scored and 2 driven in.
One ball, one strike on Duvall. Tim Anderson giving a little flack to Winker. Couple more reps in the weight room, and that's a home run.
Maybe one more rep.
Yeah. Just got to clear the yellow line. It hits off the yellow line, and here's Tim Anderson saying, you got to pump a little more iron. Nobody's going to accuse Tim Anderson of being too tight on a baseball diamond.
Well, he plays with a great deal of joy. He loves to play this game. You can see it every day. And Yolmer just loves everything about life. Very happy man and one of the team jokers.
It's a full deck of jokers in the Sox clubhouse. Some great personalities. Rondon strikes out Duvall. And 2 down in the 6th. All right, so here's the 8-hitter Peraza. He's 1 for 2. He drove in 2 up the middle in the 4th.
He didn't have a good opening game, but the last 2 have been pretty good for him as he swung it well. Leadoff spot last night, started out with a triple, later had a base hit and a sacrifice to go with it.
Jose Peraza, part of the trade that netted the Sox Todd Frazier before the 2016 season. Todd, who was beloved here in Cincinnati before he came to Chicago and made such an impact on so many. Still talk to people in Chicago who remark about having their kids at the game and Todd Frazier and how they treated him and how Todd treated the kids, and just a great guy. Moved on to New York in a couple of ways, a Yankee and Met. That's low, 3-0.
Michael Lorenzen in the on deck circle, and odds are overwhelming that if he is announced, and you would think he would be, then he will come in to pitch also. I don't think you'd want to burn him as a pitcher by using him as a hitter unless he was going to come in.
He's got the grand slam this year. Ball 4. It will be Lorenzen, it seems. just a 3-man bench, so pitcher's spot will hit for itself. Head to the ballpark. Dollar Hot Dog Wednesdays. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal. Wednesday, July 11th, coming up in a week. Sox and Cardinals, 7:10 p.m. It's brought to you by Securian Financial, who can help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com. And you hear the round of applause for Lorenzen, who's become something of a cult hero in Cincinnati.
Well, he's their Ohtani to a certain extent. By the way, Shohei Ohtani was activated today, but I don't think he's going to pitch the rest of this year. Billy Hamilton comes in. He's going to pinch run.
So Winker out of the game, Hamilton in. Now they just have 2 remaining on the bench as Lorenzen swings it against Rondon. It's good news for baseball that Shohei Ohtani's back.
Yes, it is.
One of the fastest men in all of baseball pinch running.
That will shift Schebler to right field, no doubt, and Hamilton will take over in center.
Bruce trying to keep it at 6-4. Strike to the corner, 0-2. Well, if you're going to get that pitch against the opposing pitcher, you're in good shape. Fireworks popping around the ballpark area in the distance on the 4th. Ball and 2 strikes. Rondon, who had a rough go of it in Texas, and the 1-batter walk over the weekend at home against the Athletics, trying to complete a second straight day scoreless. 1-2 from Bruce. Lorenzen lays off. They don't want to hear small sample size in Cincinnati. This is their Babe Ruth. Two and two. Rondon to Lorenzen. In the air, right field, and foul. Pesky.
I think if Bruce can get a slider anywhere near the zone, he's going to end this at bat. That time he used a fastball, and Lorenzen was able to stay alive and foul it off. Very concerned Sox fans. I'm going to hold that deficit at 2.
Hamilton at second, Peraza at first. 2 and 2. He struck him out. Omar sets to throw and has the out. Lorenzen was sprinting down the line. On this Independence Day, USAA honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad.
Michael Lorenzen comes in the game. He's out for the 17th time. 1-0 ERA of .219. He picked up an inning and a third last night. Gave up a run on 3 hits. And Billy Hamilton came in. So it shifts Schebler to right field. Hamilton came in to pinch run. Then he stayed in center field. So they've made the defense a bit better. Brought in a new pitcher. And still enjoying a 2-run lead as Sox look for some answers here in the late innings.
The answers have come in this series quite often in the form of home runs, with Moncada and Polka going deep tonight. Yolmer Sanchez an RBI double. All of that action off of Sal Romano, the starter for Cincinnati. And it's Engel first, then Narvaez and Moncada here in the 7th. Cincinnati, since Jim Riggleman took over, is 34 up and 34 down, a 500 team straight up.
Not all that bad considering where they came from.
Up the middle and through, base hit. Adams 2 for 3, and the tying run comes to the plate in the 7th inning.
So the second hit of the night for Adam in front of the home folks. Been an exciting series for him. And he sets it up for Omar in the flip-flop batting order. Omar came on and he's hitting in the 9th spot.
First at bat for Omar. And he takes ball number 1. This has been a gettable bullpen in this series. The Sox have scored at least 2 in both games against Cincinnati's relievers. Engel inching off of first, thought about going, and now 2-0.
Well, that time he could have gone because Votto was way off the bag and Adams' lead was getting larger and larger. Lorenzen wasn't looking at him, and he probably had a 15-foot lead. Now Votto's back to the bag. Now he's thrown to first.
Two 2-0, quickly home with ball 3. The plot thickens, as so does the sweat on the right-hander Lorenzen. Moncada waiting on deck. Omar takes a strike, 3-1. Engel at first, 3 balls and a strike, and a throw to first base.
Engel with 10 stolen bases, only been caught twice.
Omar grounds it foul, first base side, now 3-2.
Good chance to run with Engel.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Adam goes. Narvaez fouls it off left side.
Ricky Renteria wanting to stay out of a prospective double play. So we had Engel with a pretty good lead and going with the pitch.
3-2. 2-run game, 7th inning. That's strike 3. Throw to second. Engel tries to dodge the tag. He is out. And a key play by Barnhart in this game. 2 down.
Goes 2-6, and Barnhart makes another good throw. This one a little more quickly. It's right there, and Adam is beaten by it and tries to go around the tag, but is not successful. Peraza right there tags him, and he's well off the bag.
So it's Yohan Moncada with the bases clear. And a fly ball left-hand side. Jose Peraza snares it, and that will do it. Leadoff single. Sox can't pay it off. 6-4 at stretch time.
Stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
Hey, let's take a look at the Verizon projected starters for the first game in Houston. Carlos Rodon, Justin Verlander to get together. 72 degrees and sunny under the roof.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Verlander, Cy Young possibilities with those numbers.
Let's take a look at the high-speed action powered by Xfinity. And it was lots of action. Dylan Covey, who started off so brilliantly, ran into a buzzsaw. Winker back up the middle. The hit parade continued. Things just kept on deteriorating in the inning. It turned into a 6-run inning, 5 hits, and it drove Dylan Covey from the game. And there's a squeeze that capped it. The high-speed action by Xfinity. Well executed. That's the difference in the ball game. And we got a new pitcher in this one. Xavier Cedeno, who's been excellent this year, an ERA of .84. On for the 14th time. He keeps on getting better. 15 strikeouts and 10 2/3. The bullpen has done a wonderful job here tonight after throwing 7 last night and keeping the Sox in the game long enough to win it late.
By the way, you still have a day to vote for Jose Abreu to represent the Sox at the All-Star game. That's the sign for vote. That also is the sign for vote. How could you not vote for that guy? WhiteSox.com/vote to submit your All-Star ballot. He'll give you a big hug like that. And you can
take a punch to the face on top of it.
He can take a punch.
Yeah, he can.
So can Super Joe. If Joe has a trading card at some point in the future, that has got to be on it. It's got to be. Jose still dealing with that bruised ankle. Saw the equipment earlier when he was at the plate. Covering the ankle as Schebler fouls the first one off from Cedeno, who has been quite good out of the Sox bullpen since coming up for Aaron Bummer. (0-1) is there. 0-2. Interesting side story to this game that could become the front and center story is that Raisel Iglesias, the Reds closer, has now thrown in 3 straight games, and he's not done that very much in his career. So you'd imagine the Reds won't have their closer tonight.
They wouldn't think so, especially after the bomb he gave up to Avi. And look, we always say that closers will rust away before they wear away. However, 3 straight games usually is about it. Some closers will tell you they don't mind that 4th, but he's young enough, and if in fact they are seriously consider moving him, and I believe that they are, then you certainly don't want to expose him to a 4th as far as straight days are concerned.
Through the thick sky, Polka for round number 1 as we quiz Steve on his own career, sticks and stone. Let's see what the question is today. Who did you strike out 3 times in your first career start against Cincinnati?
Well, it certainly wasn't Joe Morgan. I would kind of doubt it was Tony Perez. So even though I have no recollection of the at-bats of Ted Eulander, I will say that it was Tony Perez.
You will?
Yeah, probably wrong, but I'll say it.
Well, Ted Eulander only played 1 season in Cincinnati, 73 games.
What year?
1972.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That coincided with my Giants at the time. Old number 24, that was not Ted Eulander.
It certainly was not. To third base at Sanchez for round number 2. So your guess is Tony Perez?
Can I switch it to Eulander?
You can't.
Okay, I got Tony Perez, and it's Tony Perez.
Hey!
Yay, how about that?
Always stay with your gut reaction.
Wow.
Nicely done.
I had a member of the Cincinnati Reds tell me that I was tipping my pitches.
Really?
Yeah, and so he told me what I was doing, and Tony Perez happened to be the hitter. And I did exactly what he told me I was doing, but I threw a different pitch. And literally, Perez took a fastball right down the middle, and I knew that the guy wasn't lying to me. So that's the recollection I had of Tony Perez. I had no idea I ever struck him out 3 straight times.
That is very rare that somebody from the opposing team would tell you that.
Yep. He did me a solid, as they say.
Did you have a prior relationship with the person?
No.
Really?
Ooh. Nope.
Was that your Billy Bob Thornton impersonation?
Haters. Yeah. Actually, he was a first-round draft pick of these Cincinnati Reds.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Ahead of a Hall of Famer, by the way.
We're narrowing it down.
That should narrow it down for you.
What year was that?
Well, I'll tell you that some say the man he was drafted ahead of was the greatest at his position in history of the game.
Okay.
He had anatomically a very large cranium.
Okay.
And enormous hands.
Okay.
You got to get it now, I assume.
What is this, Sticks and Stone Benetti edition?
That's it.
You quiz me on your career. 3-1 to Votto.
Getting out of this inning with the heart of the order coming up next is essential for Cedeno, who's 2/3 of the way through.
Three-one to left field. Pull side. Who needs it?
Both hits to left field for Votto.
Joey Votto has said that in his career he thinks that he has pulled the ball foul fewer than 10 times into the stands.
He doesn't have that kind of a stroke. I can understand that. I mean, he's looking middle of the diamond. If you throw it away, he will go to left field, but he'll pull the ball. But with his bat control, and he's up on the bat 2 to 2.5 inches all the time, maybe a little bit more with 2 strikes. You can tell why he keeps it between the lines most of the time, why he doesn't pop up hardly at all. I mean, 1 year with no pop-ups is astonishing, which he did.
It's just unfathomable in this era of fly balls.
Well, it certainly worked for him. Joey speaking Canadian to Jose.
Jose speaking Cuban back to him. Right field. Avi is there for out number 3. They only build statues for guys that Steve Stone has struck out 3 times in 1 game. Tony Perez. presented by Guaranteed Rate. Jordan Stevens last night at Norfolk at Harbor Park. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. Couple of walks, couple of strikeouts, 89 pitches, and a .358 since coming up to AAA in just his 4th season in the White Sox farm system. Out of Rice and Wayne Graham's stellar program in Texas.
That is a good-looking jersey.
Love those.
Red pinstripe?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Perfect series to wear it. You fit in with the locals, can do some espionage.
Yeah. I don't think the Cincinnati's ever had pinstripes. At least not of recent vintage.
One ball and 2 strikes. Big beard and a little hat. Mr. Redlegs is my wingman, is what that shirt says.
Get some coverage on the top of his head.
Strike 3. Sanchez punched out as we go around Major League Baseball, and some young talent showing itself in Los Angeles. For the Dodgers, Max Muncy with his 11th home run in his last 22 games.
Suppose you think that's good. 2 home runs last night. Pretty amazing.
Dodgers are charging hard in the NL West, and they are one of what seems like 20 teams listed as a possible suitor for Manny Machado. Every couple hours you look online and there's, oh, the D-backs are interested in Manny Machado. The Cubs are interested in Manny Machado. The Hartford Whalers are interested in Manny Machado.
You can understand why.
Maybe not for the Whalers. Max Muncy, 20 home runs, fastest to 20 in Dodgers history. Frank Thomas did it in 165 in 1994. But Machado is the major cog, and the trickle down from his trade likely will be significant.
The Dodgers would love to have him, and it works out well with their timetable because Seager will be back next year. And Machado will be a free agent as Jose fouls another one off his body, and hopefully it's not in the same spot. Even with the leg protector, that doesn't feel real good, and now he's limping around a bit. Oh, almost identical same spot. It's a good thing he's wearing that. He didn't want to wear it, but might have saved his season there.
Yeah, Ricky Renteria said before the game, if he's not wearing it and he takes another one off that spot, we're going to have some trouble. And thank goodness it was there. It did look like it went off the pad. Still doesn't mean it feels good.
Because that literally was in the same spot.
Yeah.
Inside lower ankle. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a one-legged swing right now.
Well, that's the problem. If you're not hitting off a solid base, you're not going to get too much into the swing unless the pitcher hangs it, and Jose's strong enough to ride it out, but that's really difficult to hit that way.
Three and 2. Ball 4. Abreu's going to walk to first. We'll see if he's pinch run for. Watch this one from the other night. The foul ball that ended up knocking him out of the game. It was a little bit lower, but not by much at all.
No, I think it was essentially the same spot, and they tried to tape it up, and then this. Going to his right quickly on a line drive, and that convinced Ricky that you need to go back in there. Jose did not want to go. Joe McEwing told him to put some ice on it, elevate it, and we'll see what happened. Well, we've seen what happens. And Lorenzen is going to be taken down out of this one with 1 out here in the 8th inning. So as he departs, so will we. We'll be back.
voted in. Keep voting. WhiteSox.com/vote. It ends tomorrow at midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. So go to WhiteSox.com/vote right now so Jose can leg out Yuli Gurriel.
Lakeside Bank call to the pen. It's Avi. And he's facing Jared Hughes. On for the 39th time, a fine ERA of 1.42. He comes sprinting in from the bullpen, looking like a locomotive as he ascends the hill. Landino checks in at second base in a flip-flop batting order. So Jeanette is gone for the night.
We'll see if that comes into play. Garcia against Hughes, the sinker baller. Well, Avi and Daniel Palka hit 4 home runs last night. One by either of them. They're the next 2 up would tie the game. Abreu stays in with that gimpy ankle. Ball downstairs, 2-1. Avi Garcia, if he had enough at bats to qualify, would be the swing percentage leader in Major League Baseball. The Reds are trying to prey on that with 2 straight out of the zone. But Avi at 2-1. Hughes gets him to swing and miss, 2-2.
But on the bright side, he did pick up his first walk of the year last night in the 12th inning. That was right after back-to-back triples by Moncada and Sanchez.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Avi takes inside, 3-2.
Got to make him get the ball up. Sinker ballers prey on hitters who expand their strike zone down. Daniel Palka in the on-deck circle.
3-2. Inside ball 4. Another walk for Avi. 2 on, 1 out here in the 8th. That one Reds fan lived a lot of emotions with that walk.
One swing away from the Sox taking the lead. Daniel had a couple of home runs last night and 1 here tonight.
Hughes to Palka. Strike 1. Now this is not a great matchup. You wouldn't imagine for Cincinnati, with Palka having the book on him being thrown fastballs up and Hughes being a sinker baller.
Well, that all depends if Daniel makes him throw him strikes, because that last one was a good 4 inches off the outside corner.
Called strike 2.
Well, the problem is the swing at the first one way off the plate, and the second one a little generous outside corner. It sets up swing mode for this one away.
0-2. There it is. You said it. 2 out. Leori Garcia has a bat. And the blowtorch is on high.
And here comes Leori representing the tying run. The lead run.
Leori with a hit in the 8th inning last night. That tied the game at 7 very briefly. He fouls a ball off his own foot.
Well, the problem is playing fairly shallow, especially in center field with Billy Hamilton. If it's hit with anything on it to Hamilton, Jose's not going to be able to score from second base. Billy's got a very strong and a very accurate arm, and he's got all kinds of speed to charge the ball if it's hit in front of him. Now he's moving back somewhat. So there's a little more room in front of him.
On the ground, up the middle, into center field. Abreu waved around. Hamilton loads up the throw to the plate. It is in time.
Not pinch running for Jose, cost a run.
Hamilton chops down the 5th run of the ball game. Ash put up a big number as here the Sox go to the bullpen.
Chris Volstead comes off for the 28th time. He's 1-5. His ERA a touch over 5. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Wanting to hold the Reds right there. Question for the Reds is who they're going to close with, to be determined.
Jose Abreu was not 100% as he came back on the field. Had a little hitch in his step. And sometimes baseball presents you situations that you'd rather not have. Abreu going full speed to the plate was one of them. Ricky Renteria declined to pinch run, and in part you would imagine because if you use Tilson to pinch run there, then you've got to use Davidson to come in to play first base, and your bench is gone.
That's true, and playing for later in the ball game, leaving Jose's bat in the lineup. But quite obviously about a step slower because of the injury. Ricky rolled the dice. Didn't come up 7.
Two balls, 2 strikes. That's off the plate, 3-2. Volstad has gotten the brunt of the heavy work in terms of inning eating for the Sox on this road trip.
And after a lot of work in Texas, he came out as a setup man opening game of the series, and he had some problems in that one.
Suarez, a base hit.
Billy likes to butt. It's the situation here.
Doesn't have to bunt when he gets plunked. Two on, nobody out. Duvall.
That one spun him around and got a piece of him before it went onto the screen. Catches him in the back of the right calf. That ball thrown behind him.
Well, he's blocked on the base path. That's the good news. He's on the base path. That's the bad news.
It's also the first time he's been hit all year.
Duvall almost got one.
That was a slider that hung inside. The fans not too happy with it, but no intent.
Chris Volstad wants outs here.
Yeah, he's not trying to put this game out of reach by hitting people until they all score. That's not his game plan coming into this one.
And you generally don't plunk somebody for throwing out one of your runners at the plate.
No.
It's not how baseball goes in terms of tit for tat. Crowd wants a balk and or a reason to boo. That's a strike to the edge, 1-1. Seven, 8, and 9 coming up for the Sox in the ninth, starting with Anderson. Chris Volstad, who since Friday, the last 5 days, has thrown 90 pitches before tonight. So that's 100 of the week for Volstad. Two and two. Into the air, right hand side, Avi. No tag from Suarez, one down. Sox will be on the road for 4 more. The lovely Houston, Texas this weekend. Then 2 with St. Louis.
After getting a much needed off day, when this road trip concludes, the Cardinals come to town.
The Astros in a sweep back in Chicago earlier this year outscored the Sox 27-2. So some revenge necessary, or hoped for. Peraza takes ball one. That was very close where it crossed the plate. Sox are trying to keep it close because you can maybe build that here we go again feeling for the Reds, who lost yesterday for the first time this year when leading after 8. It was 87 straight games.
That was a pretty impressive run.
Especially for a team that had struggled pitching wise, that they hadn't blown a lead in the 9th to lose.
More struggles in the starting rotation than that pen. The back end of the pen actually is pretty good. And with two very strong young arms coming up to help those guys find the strike zone, they've both got really good stuff. Don't know if Jim Riggleman would go to them in a situation like this, however, unless they pile on some runs here.
Reed the lefty, Rainey the right-hander, coming up from AAA Louisville.
And they both get up in the high 90s. They both, however, have had trouble with control.
And neither of them is wearing an American flag tank top tonight. Two balls, two strikes. Very close.
He was coming back and unfortunately did not come back quite enough. First one in that spot outside was called a strike. Second one called a ball.
3-2. Breaking ball fouled off. Cincinnati did not score in the first, second, third, fifth, sixth, or seventh. With 6 runs. And inning number 4 has the lead for Cincinnati. Three-2. That misses, and the bases are loaded. Blandino will bat.
He was the hero of the opening night's game, coming out as a pinch hitter, driving in 2 runs, slicing one down the line in right field. That made him a .333 pinch hitter.
It's not easy to do. I think
No.
people just imagine you grab a bat and you're ready to go. That's not how it works.
Well, especially for a young hitter. I mean, he doesn't have a backlog of Major League Baseball success to fall back on. The greatest pinch hitters were the guys that have been around. They can't play every day any longer, but they know everything a pitcher's trying to do. He's just a young kid trying to do that job.
The John Vander Waals, the Lenny Harrises of the world.
And before them, one of the greatest, Manny Mota, was just a great pinch hitter.
Bases loaded. He's the only guy in Reds colors without a grand slam, it feels like. They have 9 as a team, tying the franchise record in the first week of July. Suarez, Hamilton, Peraza, your base runners off a single, a plunking, and a walk. 2-0. On the ground, back to the mound. Volstad comes home. Omar collapses on it and can't make the catch.
Well, for a guy, I mean, the one thing that's just amazing to me, and we've seen it time and time again, Chris makes his living throwing strikes from 60 feet 6 inches, gets a ball in the same spot, throws it into the dirt. And Omar could not pick it on the short hop, and it trickled away. Pretty easy play. Not now, it's not. He does plant the back foot, and that's pretty tough to corral, and Omar cannot corral it. A huge insurance run.
That is E1.
Yeah, no run batted in.
So suddenly Cincinnati is threatening to slam the door. Schebler the batter. Hamilton at third, Peraza at second, Blandino at first. Volstad, it looked like, had an extra fraction of a second to make that throw that he didn't take.
Well, look, Suarez just doesn't run real well, so it's a pretty easy throw, but sometimes you rush it in your own mind and then bad things happen, as it did there. And not the fault of Omar, because short hops for a catcher when you're trying to keep your foot on the plate and grab the ball, very difficult to accomplish with that glove. So,
especially from that distance.
Yeah, like just a huge run. Five runs batted in for Scott Schebler with the bases loaded this year on just one hit. Those are some productive outs.
One, two. Sox just can't get through an eighth inning without somebody coming home. There's Manaea getting loose. Five straight eighth innings the opposition has scored on this road trip. Late decision, strike three, good hook, and two gone.
Schebler swung when that ball was in Omar's glove, thinking the ball was outside, then realizing too close to take. So the emergency hack yields no contact. A lot of Sox fans to the water bottles.
Ricky Renteria out to the mound. Volstad is done. Manaea is going to come in to try and close out the inning. 2/3 of an inning for Volstad. A hit batter, a walk, a single, an error, and a strikeout. Very eventful, and the Reds have one out to play with. Manaea coming in when we come back. Wherever you may be, hope the potato salad and baked beans were good. Hope no ants got into your picnic, except maybe the score right now, metaphorically.
And I hope you put everything on ice. So, Lakeside Bank, call to the pen. It's Juan Manaea. No margin for error. So you got 2 outs. On for the 17th time. He's 0-2. His ERA 4.11. 22 strikeouts and 15 1/3. He does throw that splitter, and if he does throw it and throws it well, Omar has got to smother it at the plate.
That's because Billy Hamilton's at third.
If it gets out of the dirt area, he'll score.
Barnhart ripped foul first base side.
Billy was not coming down with a pitch, despite the fact that Yolmer is way off the third base bag. He could literally get another 15 feet on the lead and not be in danger of being picked off. We'll swing around and show you. Eventually Yolmer will get in your picture, but not for a while.
That's how far away he is.
I mean, that's for any base runner at third base. You can take a lead off as far as the third baseman is away from the bag, and with the bases loaded, Tucker Barnhart has been awfully good, and Yolmer is way off the line.
One. That's there. Just caught the corner. 1-2. Tim Anderson scheduled to lead it off in the 9th for the Sox. 1-2. Second base, Moncada gets to his feet and throws out Barnhart. The Reds strand him loaded, do get an unearned run, and the Sox need some help from Tim and the boys after this.
Old true moment, and it came on this one. Up the middle, Leary with a base hit. Billy Hamilton guns down Jose at the plate. And that a big play in this ball game. Nice tag by Barnhart. Jose cannot score, and the Sox are turned away.
Cincinnati then scored a run in the home 8th. And Jared Hughes trying to close it out. Tim Anderson his first opposition. Home runs in the game for Moncada and Polka. Yolmer Sanchez an RBI double. And strike one to Tim.
Hughes does have 5 saves this year, so he has been used late. This is not that unusual for him, although Iglesias is their everyday closer, just needs a day of work off.
Yeah, he's their everyday closer literally. The last 3 days he's pitched. One down.
Good hard sinker, and this is the trademark of Hughes. You don't make him get it up, you're going to have to beat it into the ground to make contact.
Adam Engel in maybe his final at bat of the series in his home ballpark where he grew up. One and one. That's inside, 2 balls and a strike. Sox got 4 runs against the starter Romano, but the bullpen has kept zeros on the board since for Cincinnati. There's that sinker, 2-2. That's a fair ball and out number 2.
What a play that is for Suarez. This was a shortstop with the Tigers. He came over here, they moved him to third base. He's worked long and hard defensively, and now not only is he acceptable, he's very good at third. This is right over the middle of the bag. Eric Cooper on the call, and the long throw to get a very fast man, and they got him by a step. That's a big play by Suarez. He thought it was going to be a base hit. Instead, the defense picked him up.
Very accurate arm at third for Suarez.
Yes, it is. And right over the top so it doesn't tail.
It's called ball 1 to Narvaez. Sox led in this game 3-0 after 3.5. Cincinnati, though, with a 6-run barrage in the 4th. That is there. 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Sox won in comeback fashion last night, 12-8. Cincinnati the opener, 5-3. Two balls, 2 strikes. And we'll do it again.
Well, Omar took that right out of Barnhart's glove. That certainly was an emergency hack. And he stayed alive.
Hughes 2-2. Laser foul first base side. Two balls and 2 strikes. Up the middle, Peraza cleans it up and ends this series. Cincinnati a winner in game number 3.
Well, a hard-fought ball game goes Cincinnati's way, and their bullpen tonight, as beleaguered as it was last night, they held up this evening, and Eventually, they put it away. So I'll see you on the plane, and it's 4 in Houston to cap off his road trip.
We will do it. See you there. Sox fall in Cincinnati 2-1, and we say farewell from Great American Ballpark. For our producer, Keon Dolashahi, our director, Todd Benjaminson, the associate producer, Dave Ross, our technical manager, Mark Harper, the executive producer, Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew who does such a wonderful job here in Cincinnati. For Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti. So long. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox postgame live. You have been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Good night.